You have had this exact fight 3 times this month. One move flips it. You have had this exact fight 3 times this month. You know how it ends. There is one move you can make in the middle of it. A small one, 6 seconds long, that in the data flips the whole ending. Couples who make it stay together for decades. Most couples never make it. Most couples, when offered the chance, pick the move that ends the marriage instead. Here is the fight. You know which one. The dishes, the in-laws, the tone she used in front of your friends, the way he checked his phone during dinner. It is never actually about the thing it is about. It has been the same fight in 3 different rooms with 3 different opening lines for most of this year. You both know your parts. You know what they are going to say at minute 4. They know which sentence of yours arrives at minute 7. And underneath all of it, both of you assume that the way the fight ends is decided by who is right. That assumption is wrong, and it is the most common reason marriages end. The research that nailed this down lives in one lab. The University of Washington, an apartment-style room with cameras in the corners, called by everyone the Love Lab run by John Gottman and Robert Levenson, starting in the late 1970s and running through today. They brought in newlywed couples, asked them to argue about something real for 15 minutes, recorded their faces, their voices, their heart rate, their skin conductance, every facial micro-expression. Then they followed those couples for years. 6 years. In the longest cohorts, more than 15. And they did the thing nobody in marriage research had really done before. They went back to the original 15 minutes of fight, and they asked, what in those 15 minutes predicted who was still together and who was divorced? The headline number that escaped the lab and ended up on book covers is that they could predict divorce with somewhere between 90 and 94% accuracy from a short conversation. Be careful with that number. It is the accuracy on their internal sample, on couples who had already mostly self-selected into research, with raters who knew what they were coding for. Independent replications and meta-analyses have come in a little lower, somewhere in the 70s and 80s of percent. The exact decimal does not matter. What matters is the structure they found is real, has replicated, and tells you what is actually happening in your kitchen at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. The first thing Gottman and Levenson found is that there are 4 specific behaviors that, when they show up in your fight, predict the end of the marriage. They named them after a passage in Revelation, which is dramatic, but the name stuck. The 4 horsemen. Number 1, criticism. This is the move where you take a complaint about a specific thing and turn it into a character verdict. Not, you forgot to take the trash out, but you never think about anyone but yourself. Notice the shift. The behavior becomes the person. Criticism is the gateway. Most fights start here, and most couples do this sometimes. It is recoverable. Number 2, defensiveness. This is the move where, instead of taking in any part of what the other person said, you immediately explain why it is not your fault, why they are missing context, why if they had done X first you would not have done Y. It looks reasonable from the inside. From the outside, the message is, none of what you just said is landing. Number 3, stonewalling. This is the move where one partner goes silent, looks away, stops responding. Physiologically, their heart rate is usually above 100 beats per minute. They are flooded. Their body has gone into a fight or flight state, and the cognitive part of their brain that handles language and empathy has effectively gone offline. It looks cold and punishing. It usually is not. It is shut down. Number 4, and this one is the killer, contempt. Contempt is criticism plus a dose of disgust. The eye roll, the sarcastic mimic, the pet name said with venom, the smug exhale before you answer. Contempt communicates. On a level your partner's nervous system reads instantly, I am above you. In the Gottman data, contempt is the single strongest predictor of divorce. Stronger than the other 3. Stronger than how often you fight. Stronger than what you fight about. It is the toxin. And here's the gut punch. Most couples, watching the tape of themselves, do not know they are doing it. They feel justified, not contemptuous. The face on the tape disagrees. Now the part that lets you predict who lasts. The four horsemen tell you what kills marriages. Two other findings tell you what saves them. The first is the magic ratio. Gottman went back through hundreds of taped conversations and counted, beat by beat, the positive interactions against the negative ones, even inside a fight. A smile, a nod, a small joke, a touch on the arm, a "you might have a point," versus an eye roll, a cutting word, a turned shoulder. The stable, happy couples, the ones still together a decade later, were running, even in the middle of conflict, roughly 5 positives for every 1 negative. 5 to 1. Couples heading for divorce were running closer to 1 positive for every 1 negative, sometimes worse. The ratio was not about being nice. It was about how thick the cushion was. 5 units of "we are on the same team" per 1 unit of "you are the enemy" is enough cushion that the negative does not become the whole atmosphere. The second finding is the one that actually matters in the middle of your fight tonight. Repair attempts. A repair attempt is any small move made by either partner mid-conflict that tries to lower the temperature. A joke, an apology, a change of subject, a self-deprecating face, a hand reached out, a simple sentence. Can we start this over? The fascinating thing in the Love Lab data is that the couples who lasted did not necessarily make more repair attempts. What they did differently is the partner accepted them. Even when both partners were activated, when one tried to repair, the other one let it land. They softened. They laughed. They took the hand. In the couples heading for divorce, the repair attempts were there too, but they bounced off. The partner did not catch them, sometimes did not even see them. The repair would arrive, and the other person would be so flooded, so deep in their case, that the joke felt like a deflection, the hand felt like manipulation, the apology felt like not enough. Gottman has said many times the bid that gets ignored is more dangerous than the original wound. That is the move that flips the ending. It is 6 seconds long, and most couples, when offered the chance, refuse to take it. They want the win more than they want each other. The couples who pick the catch over the win stay together for decades. The couples who pick the win over the catch are the ones we follow up with at year 4 and find a divorce decree in the mail. So here are the 5 moves. None of them are clever. All of them are uncomfortable the first time. First, soft startup. The first 3 minutes of a fight predict, in the Love Lab data, how the next 15 will go with around 80% accuracy. If you open with a character verdict, "you always," "you never," "you are so," the fight is essentially already over. Trade it for the soft startup. "I feel, when this happens, I need." 3 pieces, not a script. A scaffold. It is harder than it sounds because the version with the character verdict feels truer in the moment. Second, name the contempt in yourself mid-fight. If you catch the eye roll forming, the smug exhale, the mimic in your mouth, interrupt it out loud. Say, "I am about to be contemptuous. I am pulling back." This sounds ridiculous in writing. In a real fight, it does 2 things at once. It tells your partner you saw it, which lowers their defensiveness, and it slows your own physiology by a measurable amount because language re-engages the cognitive system that contempt had hijacked. Third, the flooding break. If your heart rate is over 100, you are not arguing, you are surviving. The data is clear that nothing useful gets said past that threshold. Agree, before any fight ever starts, that either of you can call a break. 20 minutes minimum, 2 hours maximum. Not to win the time, to bring the heart rate down. The rule is, the person who calls the break is the one responsible for coming back. Fourth, catch the repair attempt. This is the one. Train yourselves, when not fighting, to notice each other's repair language. He uses the same dumb joke. She uses a specific hand gesture. He says the word "okay" in a soft register that means "I am opening a door." When you hear it mid-fight, even if you are still right, even if you have not finished your point, take it. The point you were about to make will still be there in an hour. The opening to take the hand might not. Fifth, track your ratio out of the fight. 5 to 1 is not a fight rule. It is a marriage rule. The cushion is built in the boring hours. The text in the middle of the day. The thank you for emptying the dishwasher. The 5-second hand on the back when you walk past each other in the kitchen. 5 positives per negative across the week, and the fight on Tuesday at 10 p.m. lands in a soft bed. None of these 5 moves are romantic. They are mechanical. They are the moves that, in the data, separate the couples we re-interview at year 15, still holding hands, from the ones we re-interview alone. That is the move that flips it. Subscribe to Hidden Motives. Coming up, your brain decided about them in 4 minutes. The anxious avoidant pair that hurts 5 times more, the friend you stopped calling, and the partner who recreates your oldest wound.